At narito naman ang mainit na balita mula sa mundo ng politika. Isang kontrobersyal na pahayag ang ginawa ni Vice President Sara Duterte kamakailan lamang nang isiniwalat nito ang mga kabaluktutan at kapalpakan na umano'y nangyayari sa ilalim ng Administrasyong Marcos. Ayon kay VP Sara, may mga aligasyon ng hindi tamang pamamahala at maling prioridad ng gobyerno na labis na nakakaapekto sa mga mamamayan at sa buong bansa. Sa isang press briefing, binanggit ni Vice President Sara Duterte na ang Administrasyong Marcos ay nababalot ng mga issue ng hindi transparency at kakulangan ng accountability. Inilahad niya ang mga pagkukulang sa mga proyektong itinataguyod ng gobyerno, lalo na ang mga programa na ipinagmamalaki nila na hindi natutugunan ang pangangailangan ng mga ordinaryong Pilipino. Tinukoy rin niya ang mga naganap na katiwalian at pagkakasangkot ng ilang miyembro ng administrasyon sa mga iskandalo. Kasunod nito, iginit ni VP Sara ang pangangailangan ng mas mataas na pamamahala at higit pang transparency mula sa mga leader ng gobyerno. Aniya, ang mga mamamayan ay nararapat lamang na malaman ang katotohanan sa mga pangyayari sa loob ng administrasyon at hindi ito maaaring itago mula sa publiko. Tama na ang panilinlang pahayag ni Duterte. Dagdag pa niya, ang ating mga kababayan ay deserve na malaman ang buong katotohanan at hindi natin dapat hayaan na magpatuloy ang ganitong sistema. Hindi pinalampas ni Vice President Sara Duterte ang mga pagkilos ng administrasyon na nagdudulot ng labis na pasanin sa mga mahihirap. Binanggit niya ang mga problema sa mga social services at ang kakulangan sa mga serbisyong makikinabang ang malawak na sektor ng lipunan. Ayon pa kay VP Sara, may mga pagkakataon na ang mga proyekto ng gobyerno ay pinagmamalaki, ngunit wala namang konkretong epekto sa mga tao sa ground level. Nagbigay din siya ng halimbawa ng ilang mga proyekto at desisyon na tila hindi tumutugon sa mga tunay na pangangailangan ng bansa. Aniya, ang patuloy na pagkakaroon ng mga symbolic na inisyado at ang focus sa mga malalaking proyekto ay nagiging sanhi ng pagkabigo sa mas mahalagang issue tulad ng edukasyon, kalusugan at poverty alleviation. Hindi sapat ang mga pangako, kailangan natin ng konkretong aksyon, pahayag ni Duterte. Sa pagtatapos ng kanyang pahayag, tinanong ni Vice President Sara ang Administrasyong Marcos kung kailan sila magsisimula ng tunay na pagbabago na magbebenepisyo sa lahat ng Pilipino. Inihayag niya na hindi siya matatakot sa mga pagsubok na darating at magpapatuloy siyang magsalita para sa kapakanan ng bayan. Sa ngayon, ang mga pahayag ni VP Sara ay patuloy na pinag-uusapan at iniimbestigahan ng publiko at mga eksperto at makikita natin kung paano ito magbabalik loob sa mga mamamayan. At heto ka, babalita ang ating pagkakatutukan at kung bago ka palabag sa aking channel ay huwag kakalimutang mag-like, share and subscribe para updated ka sa aming mga bagong balita dito sa Tatak Pinas.
Afterwards, yung building ng HOA na medium-rise building ng government project.
Okay. Mr. President, yung may karanasan na po ang department, Mr. President, na basta't may budget tulad ng pinaplano nila na may maintain po yung quality, yung cleanliness, etc. nung
Talking about
condominium.
afterwards.
Yes,
Kasi diba,
after
ultimate
payment.
goal is for them to own the property, which means they will eventually absorb the maintenance of the building. Which, ano yun kumbaga parang hindi rin nila na input na after 30 years, meron pa pala silang kailangan pondohan for life kasi nga may association.
Yes.
Siguro for example, itong medium rise sa yung Centennial ba yun? I mean, that's an NHA project, right? Nakakakolekta ho ba kayo ng housing, may association dues ba doon?
May HOA ba sa Centennial?
Tagig.
Sa Taguig?
I think ito ata yung mga nirelocate from the Pasig River.
We're asking the response to
Diba?
the status of Centennial, Mr. President. Pero
Ay, right.
ngayon pa lang, meron pong HOA Development Bureau sa loob ng department na kahit habang binabayaran pa yung amortization sa utang over 30 years, nagsasanay na po kung papaano once kanila na po yung property na yon, masusustain nila na maalagaan ito
So, ibig
bilang
sabihin,
COA.
Punan, for in a span of 30 years, yung pag-ibig magmamanage nung association zoo?
Yung HOA din naman po, Mr. President. It's just that habang tumatakbo yung panahong iyon, sinusuportahan sila ng department through that bureau, matuto kung paano talaga i-manage yung property niyon in the long term.
Yes. Yun lang po, Mr. President. Siguro, pag-aralan lang din ho nating maigi kasi yung pagtira sa isang condominium, ano yun malayo dun sa mga individual houses, di ba? Kasi ito talaga, may mga common shared responsibilities yung homeowners na baka yung bumibili ng unit, hindi niya alam na meron silang ganong responsibilidad. Yun lang po, Mr. President.
Salamat, Mr. President. At bahagi po yun ng social preparation ng mga beneficiaries. Salamat po
Thank you,
sa Good
Senator
Gentlewoman.
Nancy.
And if I may, Mr. President, pick up dun sa isang point ng Good Gentlewoman from Las Piñas.
To tell the truth,
Mm.
they should give the option to the people what they want. If they want condominium or if they want the land.
Parehong advocacy natin dyan, Good Gentlewoman, kahit bilang
Ilang
sponsor. sa
mag-condominium kung hindi kaya. They,
Yes,
they
Mr.
be
President.
given the option to buy the land. And then yung land na lang. Kasi sa amin, gusto lang nila kanila yung lupa. And mura lang yon. Oh, give them the option. Don't force them to buy from the condo because many of them cannot afford it. Oh, yun lang ang inaano ko sa inyo that after all, your mandate is to provide for the homeless and the poor. Eh bakit mo po persay mag-condominium yung homeless and poor if they cannot afford it? Oh. Oh.
Yes,
So,
Mr.
yung option na yun should not be removed from them kasi gagawin nila, tatanggalin nila yung mga homeless and poor, tapos tatayuan nila ng condominium, tapos hindi naman magkukwalify yung homeless and poor to buy the condo, where will they go? Oh.
Yes, Mr. President. 100% nakikiisa ang representasyong ito sa Good Gentlewoman sa ganyang advokasya.
At na wag nilang bobolahin yung mga pahihirap na aalis kayo dyan, bibigyan namin kayo ng kondo. Akala nila libre yung kondo, hindi nila alam, babayaran nila yon and they cannot afford it. I know they cannot afford it. Oo. So, give them the option. Sila mamili kung gusto nila, lupa lang ibigay sa kanila o buildan sila ng kondo, di ba? And many of them would prefer na bigyan na lang sila ng lupa and mag-save na lang sila to build houses on the land in the future. Kasi nagawa na sa amin yon. So why are they changing the model? Yun lang ang question ko.
Yes, Mr. President, and definitely the model is not being changed. May affirmation po tayo dito na CMP as an option will always be there and will not be abandoned. Nga lang kailangan talaga ng funding mula sa GAA na historically hindi po naibibigay. Pero patuloy po nating ilalaban na laging kasama po ang CMP. Pati po, yes,
We can approach government financing institution to buy the land and then the people will pay amortization for the land. Hindi naman kailangan manggaling sa GAA yun eh. If you will arrange that Pag-ibig will buy the land and they will pay amortization to Pag-ibig. Oh, they don't want the land for free. They just want the opportunity to be able to pay amortization on the land. Kasi mas mura yon than condominium. Yun lang naman ang option na binibigay namin. Di naman sila naghahanap ng libre. They're willing to pay the amortization, but you give them a chance. May model na gano'n, na bibili ng Pag-ibig or government financing institution ng land, and then they will pay for it through amortization. And they were even willing to pay down payment. Eh, paano ba ginawa yung NHA na walang down payment, tapos 700 ang hulog, may mga, ginagawa, nililipat ko yun sa inyo sa NAIC eh. Di ba that's a better model? Imagine a townhouse, and our people from, they pay, they don't pay down payment, they just pay 700 a month, tuwan-tuwa sila dun eh.
Yes, Mr. President, and actually hindi po nalalayo yung 700 pesos na sinasite ng Good Gentlewoman sa tinatansya din with amortization subsidy na babayaran kahit sa mga low-rise buildings bilang isa, hindi lang yung solong option sa 4PH dahil nga laging nandun pa rin ang CMP, laging nandun pa rin ang GLAD.
4,000.
Hindi po, not according to this table ng DSUD. Mm-mm. Okay. Kasi Oh, definitely, Good Gentlewoman. Mr. President.
Just a point of order, the
Senator Sito, can you please use the mic so we can hear you?
Thank you, Mr.
Just
President.
protecting the people living on the informal settlers. They are being deceived that they will be given condominium. Akala nila free yun. Sabi ko, mahal yan. So, huwag kayo aalis dyan sa lupa kasi pwede namang ibenta sa inyo yan lupa. At yan ang hulugan nyo, mas mura. Oo. Yun lang naman yung option na yun. Kasi paaalisin sila eh. And pagpunta nila sa Las Piñas, kasama pa nila Shopsy. Oh. So, who are doing that?
Mr. President, as I was saying kanina, bukod dun sa
Kasama
may
yung contractor. Oh, yung contractor nagagawa ng building. Bakit kasama contractor? Ha?
Mr. President,
Ano yan,
as-
negosyo? Ha? Na i-deprive ang poor ng mga lupa nila tapos ninegosyohin nyo yung lupa? Ano yon? Ba't may contractor at ano yon, ibebenta? Sabi nila, how are you able to buy? You have to apply sa pag-ibig. And if you're rejected, you are not entitled.
Mr. President, as I said earlier, kahit kay Secretary mukhang may problema dun sa Las Piñas, and as in previous years, we should yes, well, it's a good example to gain practical lessons from. So baka kailangan nating tugunan on the ground. Pero gusto ko ring i-make of record na yung binanggit ng Good Gentlewoman na 700 pesos amortization ay hindi na po nalalayo dun sa nakikitang posible ng department with amortization subsidy. Lalo na kung in partnership sa LGU na may 1,000 pesos a month, nagsisimula yung amortization ng informal settler dun sa low-rise building at 800 pesos. And then further, tungkol po sa CMP at sa GLAD, para ipakita, i-make of record na hindi po talaga bibitawan ng DSUD ang CMP, hindi talaga bibitawan ng DSUD ang GLAD, at lalo na dahil tinutulak natin ng Senado sila, patuloy nilang iisipin paano gagawing complementary program. So iso-sustain bilang complementary programs kahit dito sa 4PH with government guarantee. For one, Mr. President, ang stage-wise na land muna ay ang CMP at ang GLAD. Nga lang, hindi yon bahagi ng 4PH pero complementary po siya at taon-taon hihingian pa natin ng GAA support yan. At halos wala ding... Yes, Mr. President?
The senators would want you to manifest in writing that the people, the poor and the homeless will have an option to choose whether they want a condominium or a CMP program. Parang
Yes, very well taken, Mr. President. The Secretary is very willing to do that to our
they want a
satisfaction.
formal manifestation in writing that the poor and the homeless can choose whether they want a CMP program or a condominium. Okay? So, may option.
Yes, Mr. President. Yung paulit-ulit kong minamanifest during this interpellation so far, very willing po ang Secretary to put it in writing. Yung kanilang suporta at patuloy na paghingi ng GAA support para dun sa CMP at GLAD programs na alam nating may track record na tried and tested na mga modelo, Mr. President. Just further for the record, Mr. President, halos wala ding pondo ang CMP sa ngayon except for loan repayments or reflows. And lastly, at this point, Mr. President, kaugnay din ng written commitment na i-accomplish ng Secretary, the Secretary has promised the committee to study the inclusion of GLAD. GLAD starts with just land acquisition. Pag ready na, bahin na.
Tuloy mo na.
Salamat, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm regaining the floor now.
Yes, Mr. President.
But I'm glad, actually, I'm glad that a lot of our colleagues are interested in how the 4PH program will come into fruition. Kasi Secretary, I'm reading the President's budget message. Ito po, page 22. The Pambansang Pabahay para sa Pilipino 4PH program, the administration's flagship program for housing. Yan po ang sabi niya. Pero ito lang po, dito tayo, babalikan ko yung mga numbers na naman kay ninyo. Sabi ng Presidente, this program will address the housing needs of 1.4 million Filipinos, etc. 1.4 ang nasa mind ng Presidente. Your plan is 3.2. Bakit ang layo rin ng goal niya sa goal ninyo, then original goal niyo 6 million pa? Nag-uusap po ba kayo, Mr. Secretary?
Okay. Mr. President, yung binanggit daw ni Presidente na 1.4 million ay yung target as of now. Samantalang yung 3.2 ay yung adjusted target ng department for the next 4 years or 3 years hanggang 2028.
Isn't the Secretary just the alter ego of the President? What's the target of the President? 1.4. Sinabi niya isang budget message niya. This program will, so future tense, address the housing needs of 1.4 million Filipinos. And he's referring to his own flagship housing program. So what is the real goal? Kaya pala, well, ulitin ko to, no? This is not a good reflection on the sector or the department. Sa SONA nga ng Presidente, ulitin ko, hindi nga kayo na-mention eh. Ibig sabihin nun eh, baka ang Presidente mismo hindi impressed o hindi believe sa publicly stated goals po natin.
Mr. President, yung 2028 target ng DSUD na 3.2 million aligned dun sa NEDA. Yung budget message naman po kasi ni Presidente is for 2025 and yung kanilang target na 1.2 million is also for 2025. Shared po yun ng department at nung secretary bilang nga pong alter ego ni Presidente.
With
Well,
the indulgence of the minority leader, if I may, just one question.
Can I complete my thought?
Okay.
Kasi kung 2025 yun, ang sentence, yung part of the sentence kasi na hindi ko binasa, sinabi niya na there's an allocation of 1.8 billion pesos. And then you mean to say, sabi ng sa mind ni Presidente, ang beneficiary ng 1.8 billion pesos ay 1.4 million Filipinos? Imposible, Mr. President. 1,000 pesos
President.
per head.
Oh, hindi
Mr.
din po.
President. Kaya,
Kinukuha ko po yung
Mr. President,
saktong datos.
so, yes, go ahead, Mr. Presiding Officer.
Have you started the construction of the houses for 1.4 million Filipinos?
Not yet, Mr. President.
Oh, when will you start? The President has already mentioned.
Ang ongoing sa ngayon na construction, Mr. President, ay para sa 162,000
Only?
units.
Only? Slow-paced. The term of the President is going to end in 3 years. Until now, you're only building around 162 houses for only 162,000 Filipinos.
Admittedly, Mr. President, even on the part of the department, it is slow. Kaya po, kinonceptualize nila yung 4PH and they believe with the government guarantee as a game changer, with Pag-ibig fulfilling an important role, makaka-catch up po sila. Kaya nga po, they were able to set targets of housing units delivered until 2028. At target po nila, by 2028, nakapag-deliver na po sila ng 1.1 million housing units with interest subsidy and with a guarantee requirement.
1.1 million housing units.
Yes,
So
to
that
be
will-
precise, Mr. President.
That will house how many Filipinos?
This would house, Mr. President, around 5 million Filipinos by 2028.
By 2028.
Opo.
But as of now, you're hanggang 162,000 Filipinos pa lang.
162,000 units po housing.
162,000 units. Is that feasible?
Housing around 800,000 Filipinos, Mr. President,
Are you sure?
as of this year or as of now.
Are you sure you can meet the target before the end of the term of the president?
Okay. It is the It is the firm belief, Mr. President, of the department na gamit ang government guarantee, mapapabilis at makukompleto yung construction ng kinakailangang housing units na ito.
Okay, good luck.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Minority Leader.
I think Senator JB wants the floor for an interjection.
Okay,
Yes, Mr. President, if I may.
is recognized.
Thank you. Anyway, I'm being the previous sponsor and author of the Department of House, Human Settlements, Urban Development. We would like, of course, we would like to see the programs to be successful. Now that all the housing agencies are under one roof, no? That was the intent, no? That it will now be synchronized. And likewise, if I may interject with the indulgence of the minority, pinag-usapan kasi rito kanina yung pong condominium units for the poor. But I just like to share with you our successful experience in San Juan that we were able to build medium-rise housing units, no? Medium-rise, so 5-story, walk up. It's a joint venture between NHA and the local government unit. Usufruct for 50 years. Ang rental po ron is depende sa floor, 1,800, 600 as you go up. Ang while I admire the out of the box thinking of the secretary now kasi gusto niya because of the expensive price of land right now, mag high rise, but also yun na po yung apprehension natin. I hope that it will be answered also. Yung pong common usage area, the association dues. Kaya nga po, ideally, for socialized housing units, especially in the urban areas, kaya ginagawa natin walk-up lang para wala pong elevator. Kanina nga po, sinabi nga ni Senator Nancy, minsan nga sa condominium na medyo mga may kaya na, pag magpapalit ng elevator, pahirapan. No? Ayaw na nila maglabas. So those are the challenges that need to be answered and need to be given attention. No? Although, siyempre, gusto natin maging successful. I think with the 6 million backlog, we really have to think out of the box, and I'm hoping that this will be successful. But I'm hoping that yung pong mga apprehensions natin can be answered. But I think for urban areas, especially in Metro Manila, yung usufruct like San Juan's experience, the medium rise was successful. Yung Valenzuela na rental housing, they were also very successful. Yung Disciplina Village. So yun, I just wanted to share some success stories that we have in the urban in-city housing. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Hercito.
And just to be very clear, ito pong flagship program for housing of the Marcos administration, 4PH program, entero, ang konsepto dito, entero condominium units. Tama po. Tama. Yan ang pagkaintindi ko. Entero, condominium.
Originally, yes, Mr. President, pero nagbukas na po ang department na pinag-aaralan isama yung GLAD at naging bukas isama yung CMP, Mr. President.
So, ano tong i-approve natin na budget bali nila? Ganun na, hybrid na ito. When we now give an amount for the 4PH program, sa mind namin, entero condominium or hybrid program na?
Sa ngayon, Mr. President, interest subsidy lang ang covered dito. Pero nag-submit na rin po sila nung, as required or during the committee hearing nung mga complementary.
Kasi, Mr. President, bigla na lang namin naisip ni Majority Leader. Kunyari talaga naisip natin na si homeless beneficiary dito, potential beneficiary. Imagine natin, Mr. President, from homeless, ang unang housing unit na bibigay sa'yo, condominium concept na. It's too complicated for a homeless diretso sa condominium na mayroon ng association dues, may rental ka, tapos actually kung ma-fully pay mo na yan, bibigyan ka ngayon ng condominium certificate of title, pero separate pa rin ang land ownership. Di ba? May sariling title yung lupa dyan eh. Yes, RPT. Ngayon, kaya nga, si homeless, pinatalon ka agad natin sa very complicated, sophisticated home ownership system, Mr. President. So,
Culture shock yun.
I mean, that's just a realization namin dito while we were talking about it. Kung totoong inisip natin yung homeless. Kaya nga may doubts kami na baka hindi sila yung naisip dito sa 4PH program. Hindi po si homeless yung nasa streets ngayon. Opo.
Fair enough, Mr. President, and na yung apprehension po natin na sa simula ng 4PH program, lalo na nung binutingting na natin yung financing, na hindi niya kaagad makakapture yung poorest of the poor. Kaya napaka-importante din nung sinasabi ni Minority Leader na yung cultural change din or baka culture shock kung pipilitin lahat ng informal settlers or lahat ng wala pang housing, pumasok lang sa condominium setting. Kaya nga po tingin ko importante ang nagawa natin in the last few years na in a way mapabukas sa isip ng department yung idea ng 4PH na originally purely condominium para pag-aralan at gawin paano i-combine with tried and tested programs like
7,510,000. I am now ready to accept any question. Thank you, Mr. President.
With that, I move for a minute suspension.
Session is suspended. Our Minority Leader, Senator Aquilino Cocomitel, is recognized for his interpellation.
Thank you, Mr. President, and with the permission of our sponsor. Now I remember why I thought we had a budget session last Friday. Because last Friday, I delivered a foreign policy address before the DFA and the diplomatic community upon the invitation of the Department of Foreign Affairs. So I'd like to thank them for that opportunity that they have given me. And in that speech, dapat hindi ko malimutan yun, I made the pledge to help the DFA in their budget, Mr. President. So, siguro, and then I remember that one of the points I raised is that we should be supporting our creatives industry. Kasi it's a multi-trillion peso industry where we are excelling, and we still anticipate that we will keep on excelling in the future. So maybe if the DFA can start adjusting some foreign policy strategies and tactics on how we can promote, facilitate the bringing into the world stage the Filipino creativity and talent. So challenge lang po yun, parang exhortation or challenge that maybe you can add some specific programs, activities, or projects geared towards that. No? The promotion, not in the sense of trade, but in the sense of using the Filipino creative stakeholders as our parang de facto ambassadors of goodwill or parang representation of Filipino soft power to the world. So ganun lang po yun. Just a request, ma'am.
Yes, I'm glad that that is the opening statement of our good esteemed colleague who delivered the foreign policy address the other day. And I can, of course, share your advocacy, and I'd be happy to answer that question. First, we have, when I say we, the Department of Foreign Affairs and the attached agencies, we have institutionalized the Philippine Studies Program in various universities worldwide. I can safely say it was non-existent before, Mr. President. If I may, this was my initiative upon then Ambassador to the United Kingdom, Manalo, who is now our SFA. It was a Facebook post of Secretary Manalo when he was leaving the post, when he mentioned that it is unfortunate that there is no Philippine studies being taught in the School of Oriental and African Studies at that time. And we were the only, I believe, Southeast Asian country because there was no governmental support. Immediately, I did not know him yet then, I reached out. To make a long story short, we started the Philippine Studies in SOAS. After that, we have more than 20 Philippine Studies program, and I can just go off without the list now. We have Complutense in Spain. It was then Ambassador Teddy Locsin was the ambassador, or SFA at the time, who was with me when we launched it. We also have RUR University in Bochum. I had a very distinct privilege of addressing the academics and the students in Bochum, in RUR, in 2019. We have the Philippine Studies in Hamburg in Germany. We have in an institute in Singapore, the Isaias Yusof Ishak Institute in 2020. We have in Vienna, I can't recall the university now, in Vienna, at least 2 universities. We have Sciences Po in France as well. We have Busan University Foreign Studies in South